I remember when AEW was doing just fine. The ratings were good and ticket sales were good. And now it seems it's failing. And Tony Khan has lost his mind. I think Tony Khan is going crazy. I think he's crazy. Possibly. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I hope that wasn't too hard on your ears. What is going on? It's your boy, the SoCal Saint, back at it again with another new edition of You Know It. It's the IE Wrestling Show. Back at it again. It's the premier professional wrestling podcast on the premier sports radio network online. That is right. It is your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports. IE Sports Radio. Follow us on the X. You can follow me at IE Wrestling Show. That's at IE Wrestling Show. And you can follow IE Sports Radio at IE Sports Radio. Also, check out our awesome website where you can actually join for free, interact with all the hosts of all of our awesome shows. You can read blog postings, actually interact with us and chat with us. Check out our bios. Check out past episodes if you missed it. If you want to catch up to all of our awesome shows. And please, if you want to support the brand, check out our merch store and buy some awesome merch that we have. We have hats, shirts, sweaters, you know it, you name it. Check it out. Also, please do us a favor and show some love and throw some shekels at our official sponsor, planetjerky.net. Go to planetjerky.net and buy yourself some delicious 100% beef brisket beef jerky. No MSG, low in sodium, high in protein. It's good for you. It's Planet Jerky. This jerky is on a whole other planet. Ooh, yeah! Well, guys, I hope you liked that little custom freestyle edition of Gnarls Barkley's Crazy, where I was singing about Tony Khan because, of course, last week's episode, I was talking about the impending Tuesday Night War, which was happening later that night because our show is always around, this time of day. Last week, it was the big face-off between AEW Dynamite on a special Tuesday edition due to the Major League Baseball playoffs. Go Rangers! Go Rangers, by the way. Texas Rangers are up 2-0 against the Houston Astros in the ALCS. I am so excited. I'm hoping that the Rangers continue this awesome win streak, 7-0 in the postseason. Hopefully, we can continue that awesome streak and make it to the World Series. Anyway, just a little tidbit there. I just wanted to throw that in the hat for everyone. And AEW Dynamite went head-to-head with WWE's NXT brand. It was the NXT brand, of course, is the developmental brand of the WWE. This is where you get your first look at new superstars that will eventually be on the main roster. It's also where main roster members have already, they maybe hit a snag in their career somewhere. They need a refresher. They need a fresh coat of paint. This is where they go to get rejuvenated, basically, against, the main stars of AEW Dynamite. And I would have to say it was a slaughter. But don't ask an AEW fan that because they will defend to the death their cultist leader and their cultist wrestling company. But it was quite the slaughter with the cameo appearances of the GOAT himself, John Cena, of course, being on the show. He was already advertised, acting as general manager for the night, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Whoa! LA Knight made an appearance, yeah! Also on the brand, making a special cameo appearance, was the wise man himself of the bloodline, Mr. Paul Heyman himself. And in a special kind of non-advertised, because if you caught the commercial advertising the NXT show for last Tuesday. It was very faintly at the very end of the episode, a gong went off, which everyone knows what that symbolizes, and they definitely lived up to that bit of hype there, that bit of Easter egg hype, because at the end of the night, the American badass, the WWE Hall of Famer, the legend, the phenom, the Undertaker, made his first ever appearance on NXT. Man, NXT really came for Tony Khan and AEW and really showed what A+ brand, a successful brand, a actual number one company looks like, as opposed to a little rich boy playing with daddy's money trying to put on a wrestling show. Because that's exactly what it was. People want to argue that AEW had the better matches. I don't think so. People want to say AEW had the better show. They absolutely did not. Not only that, there was a bit of controversy that Tony Khan has yet to answer for that took place on the show with Juice Robinson of the Bang Bang Gang, the Bullet Club Gold, in his promo. Basically, it was a veiled anti-Semitic rant against the AEW World Champion MJF, where he showed a stack of quarters with Friedman written on it. MJF very famously years ago discussed, or just recently, I think maybe like a year ago, discussed an incident that took place during his childhood where, because of his Jewish faith, he was teased a lot, and the kids would throw quarters at him and telling him to pick up the quarters or something like that. You know, just feeding into these stereotypes that people have against the Jewish people. And especially at a time where the world is at a standstill, I don't want to get too much into it because I want to take away from all that senseless and unnecessary and just tragic violence that we're seeing on the Gaza Strip, both on the Palestinian and Israeli side of things. It's fucking horrible on both ends. There is no right or wrong. There is no winner. There is no loser. There is only sadness and tragedy that is happening over there. And my prayers and thoughts are with everyone affected by this horrible, horrible moment in history that we are experiencing now. That's what I will say on that. But for Tony Khan to sign off on something so blatantly anti-Semitic and not apologize for it after it's made horrible news, TMZ reported on it, and not in a good way, obviously. It's and for them to just be radio silent, it speaks volumes to me, honestly, because as Tony Khan has stayed radio silent on that, but Tony Khan, that was the reason why my little freestyle of crazy at the very beginning of the episode, because Tony Khan absolutely lost his fucking mind last week, leading up to and after and during the Tuesday Night War. Tony Khan was tweeting just nonsense, just absolute fucking nonsense. I'm gonna have to bring this up here. I don't know what it is, but someone should have took away his fucking his phone. I don't understand it. I don't know why no one took away this man's phone from him. They should have. They obviously should have. But one of the tweets that Tony Khan put out, this is after they lost. This is after it came out that they lost. But I'm trying to remember a lot of the stupid things that Tony Khan was saying. He was actually interacting. Okay, I just want to pose a question to the listeners out there. If anyone is listening, to all my people listening live in the chat room of Spreaker, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening later on the downloads on one of our many platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, thank you. If you're listening on the YouTube channel, if you're listening, after it's already aired live, please do yourself a favor. Do me a favor if you can. please just give a like, subscribe, share, obviously, but also comment on what you think about this basically public mental breakdown of Tony Khan, because what owner of a company, let alone a son of a billionaire who owns not only a professional wrestling company, a professional football team overseas, a professional United States football team here in the United States for the NFL. Of course, the Khan family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. They own Fulham FC. What owner do you know that interacts with fans online and telling them basically to go fuck themselves? Go fuck yourself. I wasn't fucking talking to you, with these stupid gifts. Like, somebody take his fucking phone away. He should have his own PR person tweet for him. You don't see Vince McMahon tweeting things out. You don't see fucking Triple H you don't see Triple H and Shawn Michaels tweeting things to Tony Khan and tweeting things at fans, at AEW fans who are critical of the product. But there's Tony Khan all over X doing the same thing. And the very juvenile thing that he did, one of the many juvenile things that he said, was he called, in reference to Shawn Michaels and Triple H, he put out a GIF from an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where somebody spray painted on Larry David's front door, I think it said bald asshole. So that was a direct shot at Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Just very juvenile, just very petty for a grown man running a wrestling company to do, especially a nationally televised wrestling company, with millions and millions of dollars invested in. And it was all for naught. It was all for naught. All this shit talking was all for naught, because at the end of the day, when the numbers finally came out, it was a unanimous victory for the WWE. It wasn't even fucking close. NXT beat Dynamite 971,000 viewers to 608,000 viewers. It was over 300,000 people tuned out from AEW and tuned in to WWE. And the AEW cultists out there, the fucking cult of AEW online, wants to try and gather up any sort of fucking excuse that they can to explain this victory. Oh, they had to bring out John Cena, and they had to bring Cody, and they had to bring The Undertaker just to beat AEW. AEW had the better show. No. No, they didn't. It took away from the talent. They buried Braun Breaker. No, they didn't. Braun Breaker, in one night, interacted with Paul Heyman, John Cena, and the fucking Undertaker. People want to look at his interaction with The Undertaker as a burial. That is not a burial. People don't understand professional wrestling. These people who claim to understand professional wrestling don't know the first thing. All these people are legends in the business. And all these people interacted with an up-and-coming star in Braun Breaker, who is the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, the Steiner brothers. He comes from a wrestling family. He played in the NFL, and now he's doing his best work in the family business today. He's one of NXT's top stars, and he got the rub from John Cena, from Paul Heyman being in his corner, and from The Undertaker. That is absolutely phenomenal for his very young career. This is a glimpse into the future. Braun Breaker is going to be a big, big star once he makes it to the WWE main roster. I guarantee it. Braun Breaker is going to have a great future. Not only that, Carmelo Hayes, his opponent that night, got the rub from having John Cena in his corner. Excuse me. Interacting with John Cena in the background in the backstage segments during the night. He got a rub from that. Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker are definitely two future big stars. These two men could very well main event a WrestleMania either against someone else or against one another in the future. I guarantee that. We will see Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker in a WrestleMania main event one day. That's what you do with veteran talent that's already established. You surround them, you bring them in and you give them a chance to elevate younger talent. And that's what that's what all the veteran talent did for NXT that night. They elevated that entire roster. They elevated the show. It made NXT feel like a big deal. You have AEW Dynamite in a fucking arena promoting Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, his first official in-ring debut match for AEW. You had title matches upon title matches. You tried to go commercial free. You gave away a free match on fucking YouTube, and in a fucking arena you couldn't even sell out against NXT. Do you know where NXT... Okay, fans, if you're not aware, do you know where NXT is broadcast every single Tuesday? It's broadcast from the same place every single Tuesday, and that is the Performance Center. WWE doesn't have to pay a house fee or book an arena every Tuesday. They do it out of the Performance Center. Excuse me. The Performance Center is where they train their athletes. It's where they train their newest superstars. It is their training facility. And that was a fucking sellout. Every single Tuesday is a sellout. They had a line miles long waiting for people to get into the show on Tuesday because of the big stars that were going to be in attendance. Cody being there not only announced the return of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament, which I'm really excited about. I can't wait to see which tag teams are announced for the tag team, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament. That's going to be fantastic. Cody Rhodes said that he will be back tonight. He will be back on NXT tonight to announce another big announcement. I don't know what it could be or what it could mean. So you'll definitely have to tune in tonight to NXT to see. And we had some great focus on the NXT women's roster. Lola Vice winning her women's breakout tournament match. Also, oh man, what was the other winner? I think it was Kalani Jordan. She won her match as well, yeah. And then Roxanne Perez, I almost forgot. Roxanne Perez, the former NXT Women's Champion, went one-on-one with Asuka, one of the most dominant NXT Women's Champion in the title's history, came down to NXT to also give Roxanne the rub. That made Roxanne look like a future star as well, having a fantastic match against already established talent in the WWE. Also, Jade Cargill showed up. Yes, AEW former TBS Women's Champion has been looking like a fucking star ever since she showed up ever since she signed with the WWE. Everything has been about making her look like a fucking star, and in just minutes, not even a whole segment, in just minutes of screen time, every time she's been on screen, Jade Cargill looks like a big fucking deal. She showed up on SmackDown, she showed up at Fastlane, she showed up at NXT, and last night she showed up on the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, and she had a face-to-face with the current NXT Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. That was huge. Just that little bit of screen time has made Jade Cargill seem like a big fucking deal. And that's something that only the WWE can do, and that's something that AEW has not ever fucking been able to do. And Tony Khan had a fucking implosion about this. Tony Khan lost his fucking mind, and once the numbers came out that AEW solidly lost to the WWE, this is what this is how he took it. He tweeted, "This week, 2 active decades-long rating streaks from 2 great legends were ended. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor The Undertaker had ever been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers, plus under 400,000 in the key demo." That was how he took his loss. That is how he took his loss, while trying to say, like, yeah, they beat us, but Undertaker and John Cena appeared in front of a crowd, a television audience less than 1 million, so I got some sort of victory. No, you didn't. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Somebody take this man's phone away, please. Please. Tony Khan's a fucking idiot. Ah, man, fuck Tony Khan. He drives me fucking insane. He's a fucking spoiled rich kid using daddy's money to make friends. He's so fucking socially awkward. It's sad. It's so cringy. I always bring this up because it is fucking cringy, and people want to get on the people who always talk about this. Come at me, bro. I don't care. I really don't care. Anybody that's listening to this and gets upset, come at me in the comment section. I'll fucking roast you like a fucking marshmallow, okay? Don't even get it twisted. As it goes, Tony Khan is fucking socially inept and awkward. He's over here going on a podcast talking about the whole CM Punk incident where he feared for his life. What a fucking pussy, man. You're a grown-ass man. Fucking sack up. Sack the fuck up, dude. You were the reason why all that shit went down, because you don't know how to be a fucking boss. You want to be everybody's fucking buddy. He's over here fucking hugging wrestlers, and they're looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? They have all these looks on their faces like, okay, while they pat him on, okay, fucking like, I don't understand it. Tony Khan has to have some sort of undiagnosed social anxiety disorder or something, because he's a fucking cringe-worthy human being. And then this video comes out, this fan video of the AEW roster being held hostage, standing out there on the Dynamite stage, singing Happy Birthday, forced to sing Happy Birthday to fucking their boss, Tony Khan, in front of the live crowd. Oh yeah, by the way, what makes the victory even sweeter for NXT on Tuesday was that it happened on Tony Khan's own fucking birthday. They beat him on his own birthday. Happy fucking birthday, Tony. Go fuck yourself. So yeah. So that's how the Tuesday Night War went. It was a solid, undisputed victory by NXT. Congratulations to Shawn Michaels, to Triple H, and all those involved. Congratulations. You deserved it. You definitely deserved it. We're going to take a short little break. We're going to get into some more wrestling news. I'll be right back with you guys. Stay tuned. Stay here. We are live. It is the SoCal Saint. Stay tuned. Do not leave, guys. We'll be right back. We're going to give you some messages, some drops to some of the best IE Sports Radio shows on the network. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back with you.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the premier professional wrestling podcast on the Premier Sports Radio Network. It's the IE Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio. If you're just tuning in, it's your boy, the SoCal Saint. The first top of the half of the hour, we were talking about the Tuesday Night War and its outcome between WWE NXT solidly decimating AEW Dynamite in the ratings, and it makes me feel just full of glee and happiness. It makes me so happy that Tony Khan, on his birthday, that silver spoon sucking douchebag couldn't have a victory in the ratings. It makes me so happy. So happy birthday to you, Tony Khan. Go fuck yourself. Once again, just wanted to reiterate that so that everyone in the back and everyone listening online could hear that for those who missed it. Anyway, let's get into some wrestling news, guys. Let's jump right in. It looks like, I want to just throw some more salt on the wound here. Let's throw some more salt on the wound. So SmackDown had its season premiere last Friday night, the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown, and guess how many viewers they had? Their rating came out to have 2,417,000 viewers to view the return of the Tribal Chief himself, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, return to the show and get involved with the hottest star on the roster today, possibly just as popular, if not more popular than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes himself. That is the megastar, L.A. Knight. Yeah! What an interaction. It looks like we're dropping the teases. It looks like, without officially stating it, I think the main event of Crown Jewel will now be L.A. Knight going one-on-one with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, especially with the way that things went at the end of the show on SmackDown with L.A. Knight being laid out by Roman and the Bloodline. But come this Friday, we will see how that goes, because I believe the Bloodline and Roman will be in attendance once again, and LA Knight, of course, will be there as well. So definitely tune in to this coming Friday night on SmackDown to see what happens, what is the aftermath of what took place last Friday on SmackDown. And we had a really epic moment where you got to see Cody and Roman come face-to-face for the first time since the night after WrestleMania this past April, which to me was just the tease. They're planting the seeds that we're going to go again. I think they're going to run it back. I really believe Cody is going to once again win the Royal Rumble this coming January, and Cody is going to go after Roman once again live in Philly at WrestleMania 40. And not only that, it's because of this. Take it with a grain of salt, because it could, this could just be, but I mean, where it's coming from is possibly this is true. This is coming from Sports Illustrated. So this comes straight from Sports Illustrated. A lot of people were guesstimating or insinuating that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, would be returning to the WWE to have his match with Roman at WrestleMania this coming April in Philly. But this report from Sports Illustrated says otherwise. There are currently no plans for Roman Reigns versus The Rock to happen at WrestleMania 40. According to multiple sources close to the WWE, the decision about the WrestleMania 40 main event will not be The Rock's to make, nor is the main event even a topic of substance. Even if the match was offered, it would not be a certainty that The Rock would even accept. So that is what is going on right now. So the working idea is that The Rock and Roman, this match, this dream match, is not happening at the moment. Everything, just like event cards, are subject to change. So things could change. I mean, it's only October. But I would think with the creative mind that Triple H is very different from Vince McMahon. His booking style is very different from Vince McMahon, and it's a breath of fresh air. Thank God. More on that here shortly. I'm about to get into that next. But Triple H is of the more long-term planning, whereas Vince McMahon in his later years has been really on the fucking fly pretty much, especially when it came to rewriting whole shows the day of, if not hours before, going live on the air. So Triple H is definitely different in that aspect, and that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. And especially after this story came out here about the owner of Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, in a recent interview, this was reported by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, Ari Emanuel, I think I'm saying that, Ari Emanuel, blames TKO's heavy drop in stock price on Vince McMahon, saying his history along with the agreement to be allowed to sell his shares at any time has drowned TKO's market momentum. McMahon was paid mostly in stocks for the WWE sale. Usually in situations like this, shareholders are bound to a 90-day lockup period. McMahon's agreement, however, explicitly stated he had no lockup, and so he has been putting all 28.84 million shares for sale. As of today, this was 5 days ago, mind you, TKO has lost 22.46% of its value in the past month. Via Bloomberg, this is where this quote came from, Ari Emanuel said to Bloomberg that Vince McMahon was the reason for the TKO stock dropped. Probably Vince, in our deal, wanted to be able to put at any point in time his stock. He's 78 years old and been at this for decades and decades. Those 3 back-to-back issues, and it just kind of fades off there, but that was basically the quote where he blames Vince for the stock's drop-off. And the running idea, I believe I reported on this last week, was that Triple H is now 100% in charge. If you've been watching the show for the last 2 to 3 weeks, you could definitely see the change in booking style. The more WWE women's superstars are on television, both on Raw and SmackDown, girls you haven't seen for months, like Tegan Nox, Xia Li, are back on TV. Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, they're all on WWE TV at this point now. You got guys like Johnny Gargano finally back on TV. Bronson Reed is having an awesome push right now. I'm trying to think what else is going on the SmackDowns. Cameron Grimes is back on SmackDown now. Dragon Lee has now been moved up from NXT to SmackDown. Carlito, who's been under contract for months, is now finally back on WWE TV. And he's a part of officially back on the SmackDown brand, so you could totally see the shift change already, just in terms of viewership, in terms of booking style, in terms of quality of WWE programming currently. Bobby Roode, I don't know if I touched base on this last week. Glorious Bobby Roode is currently not on the WWE's active roster. It appears that former NXT champion Bobby Roode has transitioned away from being a full-time professional wrestler in the WWE. According to a report by PW Insider, Roode has been removed from the active WWE roster. Previously, he was listed on the miscellaneous section of the roster, which typically includes individuals who still have some connection to the company, such as legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin, or those who are currently sidelined due to injury. In recent weeks, Roode has been working as a backstage producer, and it seems likely that he will continue to work behind the scenes. He was present backstage for WWE Monday Night Raw event last week, as well as this week. Bobby Roode's last in-ring match took place in June of the previous year when he had a quick match against Omos. Roode had garnered significant support from Triple H during his time in NXT, and with Triple H's involvement in the company's backstage operations currently, it suggests that Roode's position within the WWE remains secure, albeit in a different capacity. So it looks like Bobby Roode, especially after he just had, we reported a few weeks back that he had neck surgery and would be out for quite some time. It looks like Bobby Roode he's come to terms with that his in-ring career is winding down and that he will be fully transitioned now into a backstage role, like so many other wrestlers, which is cool. I mean, hey, if you feel like you've had enough bumps on your bump card, you can quietly let it go and have a safer, more means of making a living. So all kudos to Bobby Roode in that aspect. Another superstar who's been working as a backstage producer made his WWE television debut, albeit not as a wrestler, but now as a new on-air authority figure, where this past Friday night on SmackDown, on the season premiere, Triple H was in-house to make a big announcement, which was the return to the general managers. Yes, WWE has not really had an on-air authority figure in quite some time. When he made it official, Adam Pearce is now the official Raw general manager, and for SmackDown, Nick Aldis. That's right, Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis, former TNA Impact World Champion and former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Nick Aldis, the husband to WWE legend and current Impact Wrestling star Mickie James, is now the SmackDown General Manager. So Nick Aldis is now moved from backstage producer, which was a temporary thing where I guess they signed him finally, and now he is the general manager of SmackDown, which I really hope to see Nick Aldis actually wrestle at some point, because he's still very young. He's my age. Nick Aldis is 36 years of age. He doesn't look it in my eyes, but Nick Aldis is 36 years old. He's still an active competitor. He just recently, in the last few months, was wrestling for Impact Wrestling before signing up with the WWE once his Impact deal had expired. And now he's in an on-air role as SmackDown General Manager. So kudos and congratulations to Nick Aldis, finally making WWE television debut, which is so funny that in the history, when you look at it, a fan pointed out that the general managers of Raw and SmackDown, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, respectively, are both former NWA World Heavyweight Champions, both running the top shows of WWE. Speaking of the NWA, this came out on Pro Wrestling World on Facebook. A new TV deal has been reached. NWA owner Billy Corgan said they have secured not one, but two television deals on top 20 channels starting in 2024. Corgan said NWA will soon announce two completely different types of wrestling shows that will bring both diehard and casual fans to the NWA brand. He also touched a bit on how YouTube is the worst partner for a wrestling product and claims that their tactics have stunted NWA's growth. YouTube, this is a quote from Billy Corgan, YouTube is a terrible partner for wrestling. I'm just going to flat out say that. Who knows how these AI systems work? They've been squeezing all the wrestling content creators. No one can quite figure it out, but everybody's numbers are down, and that's across the board. So God knows why YouTube's doing what it's doing, but it's very mercurial, and we can't even put ads on YouTube. It gets banned for being offensive, and we can't find anybody to talk to tell you why you can't put an ad on there. So even when we're trying to spend money to get people to watch our programming, we can't. So 5 years ago, yes, YouTube, great place to start. It helped us build the brand. I can say now, for the first time, and I have to be a bit vague because there's some other political aspects to this, but I can say now that we finally have signed not just one, but two television deals and an agreement as far as where and who will be coming soon. But we finally now will be available to move off YouTube. Not exclusively, because we will still want to do stuff on YouTube, but we now will be moving with a network partner. I can say it's a top 20 network, and I'm very excited. I've been working on this for over a year, and like I said, not just one, but two television deals are involved. Two totally different wrestling-related products we will be offering. So 2024 is looking very, very bright. We're very excited. So awesome, guys. What a time to be a professional wrestling fan. You got New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling on the same channel on Access TV. You got MLW on the Reels channel. You got WWE, of course, on USA, on for NXT and Raw, and on Fox for SmackDown. And of course, if you're into that, AEW on TBS and TNT. So the more wrestling, the better. Come on, bring it on, guys. Bring it on. So congratulations to the NWA and Billy Corgan for that. Former WCW and current AEW commentator Tony Schiavone has been named the 2024 Gordon Solie Award recipient by George Tragos / Luthez Hall of Fame. Tony Schiavone will be honored with the Gordon Solie Award at the 2024 George Tragos / Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony in what will truly be one of the greatest nights in the history of the sport. The Tragos Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame announced that Tony will be receiving this accolade on Monday. Wow, this already passed, so this just happened last week. Well, that's when they announced it. The award honors those in the industry who have done extraordinary work on the broadcasting side of professional wrestling. Tony Schiavone was a longtime voice of World Championship Wrestling, providing the soundtrack to many iconic moments in the Monday Night War, including Hulk Hogan turning heel at the WCW Bash at the Beach in 1996. Schiavone also spent a year in WWE beginning in 1989. During his short journey in the company, Tony called many iconic moments, including the first face-to-face meeting of the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan at the 1990 Royal Rumble match. Today, after an extended absence following the demise of WCW, Schiavone is once again working behind the microphone and behind the scenes of AEW. He has been with the promotion since 2019. He is also the host of the What Happened When podcast along with Conrad Thompson. Thompson was gifted the same honor in 2023. So here, I always liked Tony Khan. No, scratch that. I fucking hate Tony Khan. I've always liked Tony Schiavone. I've always liked Tony Schiavone on commentary, especially back in the WCW days during the Monday Night Wars. So I just wanted to, if on behalf of the IE Wrestling Show, congratulations to Tony Schiavone. He definitely deserves this high honor of praise for his long gestating career in professional wrestling. This is some I don't know if it's been reported on one of our other shows, but this is some news out of the MMA world, so I thought it would go hand in hand with my wrestling show because this is WWE's partner under the TKO umbrella, the UFC. So this was huge breaking news about 5 days ago out of the MMA world. As of January 1st, 2024, USADA will no longer be working with the UFC to drug test athletes. Below is an excerpt of a statement USADA released. It appears the straw that broke the camel's back was UFC wanting to rush into a Conor McGregor fight without following USADA guidelines. And this was the statement from USADA. We can confirm that Conor McGregor has re-entered the USADA testing pool as of Sunday, October 8th, 2023. We have been clear and firm with the UFC that there should be no exception given by the UFC for McGregor to fight until he has returned 2 negative tests and been in the pool for at least 6 months. The rules also allow USADA to keep someone in the testing pool longer before competing based on their declarations upon entry in the pool and testing results. Unfortunately, we do not currently know whether the UFC will ultimately honor the 6-month or longer requirement because, as of January 1st, 2024, USADA will no longer be involved with the UFC anti-doping program. Despite a positive and productive meeting about a contract renewal in May of 2023, the UFC did an about-face and informed USADA on Monday, October 9th, that it was now going in a different direction. We are disappointed for UFC athletes who are independent contractors who rely on our independent gold standard global program to protect their rights to a clean, safe, and fair octagon. The UFC's move imperils the immense progress made within the sport under USADA's leadership. The relationship between USADA and UFC became untenable, and others questioning USADA's principled stance that McGregor not be allowed to fight without being in the testing pool for at least 6 months. One UFC commentator echoed this, recently declaring that USADA should not oversee the UFC program since we held firm to the 6-month rule involving McGregor. And since we do not allow fighters without an approved medical basis to use performance-enhancing drugs like experimental, unapproved peptides or testosterone for healing or injuries simply to get back in the octagon. Fighters' long-term health and safety, in addition to a fair and level playing field, are more important to USADA than short-term profits at the expense of clean athletes. USADA is proud of the work we've done over the past 8 years to clean up the UFC. We will continue to provide our unparalleled service to UFC athletes through the remainder of our current contract, which ends December 31st, 2023. As always, we will continue to uphold the rights and voices of clean athletes in all sport. So, wow, that is major. So, I don't really know if UFC has a plan, has another backup, has another agency to drug test their athletes prior to their fights, but I think this could be very detrimental to UFC, honestly, because it looks like you're going to have a bunch of juiced up fighters because there's no longer any regulations whatsoever. Because I can't see the UFC implementing their own drug testing policy without the help of USADA. So, we shall see. They haven't announced anything yet, as far as I know, but that's just wild. That's really wild to hear. And now we're going to move into the world of boxing, surprisingly, here on this wrestling show, because it involves wrestlers. So, this is the first off. Apparently, former WWE superstar Matt Riddle, the original Bro, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, so take this with a giant grain of salt because of where it's coming from, good old Tuna Meltzer, Dave Meltzer himself, Matt Riddle and Logan Paul's boxing brother, Jake Paul, are in preliminary stage discussions on a contract for a boxing match against one another. If you're familiar with Matt Riddle's professional fighting career before the WWE, you know that he is a very well-trained and experienced fighter, as he was a member of the UFC at one time. And Jake Paul is no slouch either when it comes to boxing. So this could potentially turn out to be actually a very good fight. I feel Matt Riddle probably would have a better chance of winning than Jake would, especially with Matt's history of the UFC, but we shall see. So this is only, a rumor, so just be on the lookout for that if any truth comes from this rumor that we are hearing now. Also, after his awesome, dominating victory over that douchebag Dylan Dennis, Logan Paul, WWE superstar Logan Paul, after his boxing victory, was interviewed by Ariel Helwani, and he called out the current WWE United States Champion, Rey Mysterio, saying he wants that title. And Rey Mysterio went on X and said, "I'm here, bro. Come see me. I ain't hard to find." So this coming Friday, it's been announced that Logan Paul will be in the house on SmackDown and will come face-to-face with the United States Champion, Rey Mysterio. So it looks like I'm pretty sure I can announce it. It hasn't been officially announced, but fairly certain that we're going to get Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship at the upcoming Crown Jewel event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Okay, what else is there? I have a long list of things to talk about here, guys. Okay, so some more WWE news. Jade Cargill, the newest, biggest attraction in the WWE, who is yet to have her in-ring debut, but every time she's on television, she looks like a fucking star, $1 million. The investment is paying off already in dividends. Jade Cargill has officially filed for trademark of her name, meaning she'll be getting a lot higher percentage of her merchandise sales than most other talent. So good for her. Congratulations. That's how you do business. She officially filed a new trademark for her name with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office through Michael E. Dawkins. The trademark is listed for merchandise and entertainment purposes and was filed under the company name of Jade Cargill, LLC. The trademark registration is intended to cover the categories of bandanas, hats, leggings, socks, shirts, and short-sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, and hooded sweatshirts. So, anything that's going to have Jade Cargill plastered all over it, she's going to get some fat revenue from that for sure, especially with WWE selling that as well. And speaking of some fat revenue for the WWE, it was officially announced 18 hours ago that Survivor Series, that's right, Survivor Series, which is coming to you live November 25th in Chicago, Illinois, is officially sold out. It's sold out, guys. No tickets left. It is officially sold out. WWE doing big, big business, y'all. I wonder why it sold out. It must have something to do with all those teases about a certain best in the world being available now. But if you believe this next report, there is no truth to the matter. According to this report, the WWE and CM Punk are not in talks, which is contrary to what I talked about last week on my show, that they were in talks. So take this with a grain of salt. Fans eagerly anticipating CM Punk's return to WWE might need to temper their expectations, as it appears that such a comeback is not on the immediate horizon. There have been conflicting reports recently about whether Punk and WWE are in discussions regarding his return. Initially, reports indicated that while no deal had been finalized, both parties were engaging in talks, with Survivor Series in Chicago speculated as a possible return date for CM Punk. However, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, he has reported that according to people he has heard from, CM Punk is not planning a return to WWE. A higher-up within the WWE emphatically stated any reports of CM Punk signing with the WWE are completely false, and further added, as of October 10th, there are no ongoing discussions within the company about a comeback for Punk. This statement was meant to clarify the situation for fans who have been anticipating Punk's presence at Survivor Series. Additionally, WWE sources insist that there are currently no negotiations taking place between the WWE and CM Punk. One source acknowledged a previous report that Punk had expressed interest in WWE and suggests that Punk might have been waiting to see if WWE would initiate contact. In response to the recent teases related to Punk on WWE television, both the higher-up and a prominent WWE talent have indicated that many of these teases are not pre-approved and might be the actions of individual wrestlers, possibly aimed at getting a reaction from CM Punk himself. So, there you have it. I had one story where last week I was talking about Punk was in talks, and now this is another story saying that he's not. So, like I said it last week, guys, take it with a grain of salt. It's all rumors and speculation. That's all the internet wrestling community seems to be these days. There's a lot of internet talk and speculation. Sometimes that internet talk and speculation turns out to be true. A la Edge going to AEW, a la Jade Cargill going to WWE. All those rumors actually turned out to be true. So, like I said, I would say don't hold your breath, but, just watch and see, guys. Just watch and see. Speaking of Edge and Edge and AEW, not looking good. Not looking good so far. It looks like history is starting to repeat itself already. Wrestling Observer newsletter, take it with a grain of salt, from Dave Meltzer, reports that Edge and Ricky Starks were mad at each other over unscripted insults in their promos on this past Saturday's edition of AEW Collision. Apparently, I can't really, because I didn't watch Collision, so I don't know exactly what was said between the two of them, but apparently, there's some sort of, whatever was said really upset both of them, and they actually got into an argument backstage after their, in-ring promos with each other. And this is what I feel is the problem. I know a lot of fans say that it should not be, scripted, that promo should not be scripted, and they shouldn't. But you should discuss with each other beforehand do's and don'ts, what you can say, what you cannot say, so that everyone's comfortable out there if there's no pre-approved, handwritten script for you to follow word for word. This has led to a lot of fights and arguments backstage. For example, Sammy Guevara and Ring of Honor World Champion Eddie Kingston famously got into a backstage fight over a promo of some stupid shit that Sammy said. And not only that, the whole cause of the elite and Punk feud started from Hangman Page talking out of his ass, saying some shit he shouldn't have said about Punk in a promo on live television. All of this trickles down from that one moment. That's where all the shit started, was that fucking promo. So, I mean, you would think that Tony Khan would have learned his fucking lesson, but of course he does not. So, could this be the beginning of more bullshit to come in the AEW locker room? I really hope not. I sincerely hope not. I got some awesome good news here. Congratulations to WWE superstar Kofi Kingston for doing an awesome charitable thing. Kofi Kingston just seems like such a fucking good dude, man. I don't hear anyone talk bad or ill about this man. Kofi Kingston just looks like a very awesome and just likable human being. And what good is what an awesome thing for me to report on that Kofi Kingston has opened a library and a digital center in his native country of Ghana in Africa. The Kofi Kingston Library and Digital Center, a Click FQE Foundation project. So congratulations to Kofi Kingston for doing just amazing humanitarian work in his native Ghana and opening up a library and a digital center in Ghana. Congratulations to Kofi Kingston for that. And it looks like a new forbidden door has been opened, because this past Friday on Rampage, I wasn't watching, but I heard that this past Friday on Rampage, CMLL's Mystico debuted against NJPW's Rocky Romero. CMLL on AEW TV, while AEW still has a partnership with AAA, is interesting, as CMLL and AAA famously hate each other and refuse to work with each other. This has previously kept AAA wrestlers off of Forbidden Door pay-per-views with NJPW, because NJPW has an exclusive partnership with CMLL. So I wonder, I don't know how they were able to work this out, but somehow CMLL allowed Mystico to compete on AEW programming. And just announced for WrestleCade Super Show, part of WrestleCade Weekend, at the Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for the same day as Survivor Series. It'll be November 25th, 2023. Doors open at 4 p.m. First match is at 5. Tickets are on sale at WrestleCade.com. Main event has already been announced, and it will be from AAA, El Hijo del Vikingo going one-on-one with AEW superstar Andrade El Idolo. That is the biggest match, the big main event match that has been announced for that WrestleCade Super Show. If you're going to be in the Winston-Salem area on that date, get yourself some tickets. Go to WrestleCade.com and buy yourself a seat. Check it out. Real quick, guys, before we end it, I know, we're almost over, but we're almost hitting an hour, and I'm just going on. I've just been talking about a whole lot of different things. I just wanted to get into this real quick, that 2 official matches have already been announced for Crown Jewel, which will be taking place live Saturday, November 4th, from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at the, what is the name of the stadium? I'm sorry, I'm looking for it here. It'll be at the, oh, come on. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to look for where the damn arena is. For some reason, it doesn't list it. I do apologize. But it is one of the big, huge stadiums in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And this is going to be the 10th event that the WWE will hold in Saudi Arabia under their 10-year partnership in support of Saudi Vision 2030. And 2 matches have already been officially announced, which will be Seth freaking Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. I really can't wait for that. That should be a hell of a match. And this is another big match that's been announced for that. As of last night on Raw, Rhea Ripley will defend the Women's World Championship in a fatal 5-way match against Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. So, big women's match taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the women's world title, and Seth freaking Rollins defending his world title against Drew McIntyre. But before we get to Saudi Arabia, this coming weekend in Chicago, Impact Wrestling presents Bound for Glory from the Cicero Stadium in Cicero, Illinois. That's right, it's a Chicagoland suburb, and NJPW and Impact Wrestling are going to put on a big show. You can buy this on FIGHTV.com app. You can also buy this pay-per-view on pay-per-view if you don't want to miss Impact Wrestling's biggest event of the year. Do not sleep on Impact, guys. Impact has been fantastic as of late, and they have a big old show scheduled for Bound for Glory. These are the matches that have been announced. In a Monsters Ball match, that's right, the famous Extreme Rules style match, the Monsters Ball match will be PCO versus Rhino versus Steve Macklin versus Moose. In a tag team match for the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team titles, MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich defend the tag team titles against Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo. In a tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team titles, it will be the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, defending the tag team titles against ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Call Your Shot Gauntlet, a 20-person intergender Call Your Shot Gauntlet. The winner receives a trophy and a contract that they can invoke anytime within 1 year for a championship match of their choosing. Some of the participants already announced for this gauntlet match will be Jake Something, Dirty Dango, Champagne Singh, Eric Young, Jordan Grace, Brian Myers, Shera, Killeen King, Jody Threat, and Bully Ray. In a one-on-one match for the Impact Knockouts World Championship, Trinity will defend the Impact Knockouts World title against Mickie James. In a one-on-one match for the Impact X Division Championship, in a dream match, I really can't wait to see this match. It'll be Chris Sabin defending the X Division Championship against Bullet Club's Kenta. In a one-on-one match, NJPW versus Impact Wrestling, Will Ospreay goes one-on-one with Speedball Mike Bailey. And in the main event, for the Impact World Championship, Alex Shelley defends the Impact World Championship against the man who never lost the title, Josh Alexander. This all goes down Sunday, October 21st. Impact Live on pay-per-view, Bound for Glory. Alright guys, with that, I think that's it for the show. We ran a little over an hour. I'm glad you guys stuck around with me. This has been awesome for me to do. I love doing this show every single week for y'all. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the IE Wrestling Show. This has been your boy, the SoCal Saint. Follow me on the X at IE Wrestling Show. That's at IE Wrestling Show. Please do yourself a favor. Go to IESportsRadio.com. Follow IE Sports Radio on the X as well, at IE Sports Radio. Go to planetjerky.net, buy yourself some jerky, just sit back, relax, listen to some awesome shows, and eat some awesome jerky. Next week, I'll be back, guys. Same SoCal Saint time, same SoCal Saint channel. Take care, guys. I'll see you again next time. Peace.